The Dallas Mavericks are slowly creeping up to become one of the prime candidates of being the dark horse championship contenders in the Western Conference, as Luka Doncic has been making a strong case as of late to be considered among the top MVP candidates. The West seemed to have the two best teams in the entire NBA all season long in the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors, and even though that may still very well be the case, it has been incredibly rocky for both of those clubs, as the Suns just lost Chris Paul for 6 to 8 weeks, and the Warriors have just lost 6 of their last 10 games. Sitting at 5th place in the conference, you certainly cannot count out the Dallas Mavericks to make a push and challenge some of the top teams in the playoffs, because anytime you have the type of generational talent in a guy like Luka Doncic, who can give you 30 plus point triple doubles on any given night, you will always have a shot in a 7-game series against any opponent you may be up against. On top of the fact that Luka has already been proving that he will most likely end up as one of the all-time greats in the NBA, he's completely turned his season around, especially in 2022, as he's been on absolute fire as of late, as the Mavs have won 8 of their last 10, which has now brought the attention back to Doncic, as he's slowly making a case to be a top MVP candidate. In his last 10, Doncic in 36 minutes a night, he's been able to average a near 30-point triple-double of 33, 10.5, and 8.3, almost racking up a steal and a block per game, and he was doing all of this while shooting 45% from the field and nearly 40% from 3. During that stretch, he had multiple unbelievable games where he managed to put up an incredible 50-point win over the Clippers, a near 50-point win where he dropped 49 with 15 rebounds in a win over the Pelicans, and then also nearly managed to score exactly half of his team's points in a nail-baiting 2-point loss to the Clippers, as he scored 45 in that one, once again grabbing 15 boards as the Clippers won 99-97. Also, only a small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed, so if you end up liking this video, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video. It has been very clear over the last 2 seasons that the Mavericks' success goes directly through Doncic, as they painfully had 2 first-round exits as he fought through injuries in each series, but this is exactly why the Mavericks could not be heading more in the right direction with the way that Doncic has been playing, and in my opinion, this team is much more equipped to support their superstar than they have been in the past. The Dallas Mavericks have made an incredible leap this season on the defensive side of the ball, which has seemed to be their focus point this offseason. Last season, their defense ranked 21st in the entire NBA, and the season before that in 2020, they were ranked just 19th, whereas all season long, this script has been completely flipped, as the team has a defensive rating of 107.4, which ranks 5th in the entire NBA, and since January 1st of 2022, the team has managed to put up a defensive rating of 105.5, which ranks 2nd in the entire NBA among all teams, and just behind the Boston Celtics. And I have recently made a video on this, talking about how the Boston Celtics have completely turned their season around, as they too have made an absolute commitment on the defensive side of the ball, so check out that video after this one. This is statistically the best team Luka has played on, and it is by a wide margin. Even with those below average defenses that Doncic was a part of, the team still had very legitimate chances to advance past the first round, especially when you consider Doncic wasn't even playing at 100%, but it was because of his play that gave them a real shot. It's no secret that Luka's defense isn't his strongest attribute on the court, but with a stronger defense around him, that flaw becomes much less of an issue, and it will allow the Mavs to have a much greater chance of surviving even when Doncic is having spurts of uncharacteristic play in the playoffs, when the game slows down and teams start to zero in on him in their game plan, trying to neutralize his play. All in all, history has shown that it's nearly impossible for a team to win anything of significance without one of the league's top 7 players. However, the Dallas Mavericks are lucky enough to have just that on their team in Doncic. He's playing at the top of his game at just the right time, and another thing that makes him so special is his ability to elevate those around him. Whether it's Dinwiddie, Reggie Bullock, Jalen Brunson, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dorian Finney-Smith, or Maxi Kleber, everyone is better when they play alongside Doncic. Starting with Spencer Dinwiddie, the team's newly acquired guard in a trade with the Washington Wizards, where the Mavs gave up Kristaps Porzingis in exchange for Spencer Dinwiddie and Davis Bertans. Many people were were surprised by the move at the deadline. However, the more you think about it, the more it starts to make sense. It became very clear after 2 first-round exits that Porzingis was not the right guy to be Doncic's second-hand man that he needs by his side, and his contract is far too expensive to be considered a third option on this team. With that, it paved the way for Dinwiddie, a guard who many people have forgotten about and what he's capable of after an injury that took him out in 2020 and a bad start with the Wizards, which seemed to be multiple issues with that locker room in general. Dinwiddie brings the ability to be a second creator on this team to make life easier for Doncic, and once again, that is exactly what he's been able to do so far with his short stint with the Mavs. In just 24 minutes last night against the Lakers, Dinwiddie managed to rack up 9 assists in that span, and he's already had 2 other incredible games as well. As he comes off the bench for this team right now, he scored 24 points, shooting 71% in a comeback win against the Golden State Warriors, and 20 points against the Jazz, where once again his efficiency on the night was an absurd 66%. Acquiring him now allows for Jalen Brunson, who's already having a career year, to focus more on scoring the ball as he takes some pressure off of him to set up teammates. As for the rest of the guys on this team that play significant roles, Maxi Kleber and Dwight Powell are more than enough as centers to play around Doncic, helping on the defensive side of the ball and being recipients of the pick and roll. Powell is a 20-minute-a-night starter but shoots 65% from the field, and Maxi is able to stretch the floor when spacing is more of a concern for this team. The main thing about this Dallas Mavericks squad is that they're trying to create something with the pieces that they have to make the life of Luka as easy as possible on both ends of the floor, and that's what makes this team so special. Guys like Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock provide the consistency of being able to suit up almost every night and collectively advance this team's defense around their superstar. The Dallas Mavericks certainly understand that whenever they have a healthy Luka Doncic on the court playing at the level he is at, anything is possible for this team, and with the improvements that they've made just over last year, there's no question that this team is going to compete this year in the playoffs and will be a terrifying matchup for anyone to go up against Luka Doncic in a 7-game series, because frankly, no one knows just how good he can be on any given night. I still believe that this team hasn't even reached its full potential with the guys that they currently have, especially as Dinwiddie gets more of a feel playing for this team, as many people are underestimating just how good he is and what he brings to the table. The Western Conference seems to be getting more open as the season nears the playoffs, as like I mentioned earlier, the top 2 teams have been struggling and have injuries that they still have to deal with to play at their top potential. The other top teams like the Nuggets have been battling injuries as well, and the Memphis Grizzlies' biggest concern, although they may prove everyone wrong like they have all season, is their lack of experience. This leaves room for the Dallas Mavericks to have a strong chance to lock in when the playoffs come around and allow for Doncic to show the world that he's one of the best players in basketball. It really is up to just how good Doncic will be to determine the fate of the Mavs, but let me know what you guys think of this team and the run that Luka is on down below in the comments. As always, if you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like to help this video get shared along YouTube's algorithm, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more NBA videos like this one that I will be posting multiple times per week. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic night.